Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching me on YouTube, I do apologize for the delay. I was trying to get my other social media up. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. If you saw the title of this video, it is called How We Love Ourselves. How we love ourselves. Now, I know that as a survivor of domestic violence, that is a question that you have to ask yourself. Once you get out of that relationship and you begin to reflect on what you could have done differently. What could you have done to see the red flags? What could you have done to prevent yourself from getting into that situation? You have to ask yourself, how do I love myself? Because obviously, you can love others. Even when they do you wrong, you are still loving them and you're holding on to someone who's not necessarily good for you. Someone who's not holding on to you, you continue to hold on to. Now, that may not necessarily be love, but when you're in the moment, you're thinking this is the love of your life. Your world is surrounded, you surround yourself with that person. This is your world. And all that happens because we are emotional creatures. It is okay to have feelings. What we have to understand is that we need to be able to determine, is this really true love? As a Christian, I have to go to the Bible to know what love really is. And so I want to share with you this scripture from First Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. And I'm reading the New International Version where it says, and you're familiar with this, I'm sure, but love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. Love is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. It always perseveres. Love never fails. Now, when I read that scripture, as you listen to those words and you reflect on how you love yourself, ask yourself, is that the love that you are showing you? A lot of times we try so hard to be in a relationship, to show love to others, but you yourself also need to love yourself in that kind of way. There's a song titled What You Won't Do for Love, and the lyrics to that song says, you tried everything, you do everything that you would not do. What you would not do for love. Well, the question that you must also ask yourself is, what would you do for love of yourself? What would you do? How would you love yourself if you really love yourself? Because honestly, I know for a fact that if we really loved ourselves, we would not end up in some of the situations that we have been in. As a survivor of domestic violence, one of the things you have to do is learn to love you. When you start learning to love you, you are not going to settle for less. Think about that. If you treat yourself a certain way, if you have a certain standard for how you navigate your relationship with self, you're not going to let someone else come in and disrespect that. So, one of the exercises that I do in my course with women is I tell them, take a version of that Bible scripture and then put your name in it. So, I'm going to let you hear what that sounds like for me. And I'm going to pull it up again because I want to read it correctly. I don't have it memorized. And let me just find it where I have rewritten my name in that. All right. So this part of my course is called How We Love Ourselves, of course. And here's what it says. Oh, Rhonda does not give up. Rhonda is kind. Rhonda is not jealous. Rhonda does not put herself up as being important. Rhonda has no pride. Rhonda does not do the wrong thing. Rhonda never thinks of herself. Rhonda does not get angry. Rhonda does not remember the suffering that comes from being hurt by someone. Rhonda is not happy with sin. Rhonda is happy with truth. Rhonda takes everything that comes without giving up. Rhonda believes all things. Rhonda hopes for all things. Rhonda keeps on in all things. Rhonda never comes to an end. Now, all I did was put my name in that scripture where it talks about love never fails. So when you put yourself in the scripture, then you begin to really get an understanding of what love is. And imagine if you were all those things to yourself, you would not give up on yourself. Your hope would not fail. You would not be proud. And that's not to say that you cannot be happy and feel achieved in what you have accomplished. That's just saying that you are not going to take that to the level of pride. Because remember, pride is what made Lucifer fall from heaven as an angel. So I want you to put yourself in that scripture, but most important, that last part of that scripture says, love never fails. Rhonda never fails. And I know sometimes you may feel like a failure because of the situations that you are in, but remember, all things work together for your good. If you're a woman who's gotten out of abusive relationship, what you know now is that you are stronger than what you were when you first got in that relationship. I don't want you to have to go through pain to get there, but we also know if you have experienced something in life and you've overcome it, you have now overcome something that was intended to tear you down, to destroy you, but you are here today as an overcomer, and I want you to remember that. So go back to that scripture about love in First Corinthians and insert your name. And today, tomorrow, the rest of this week, think about how you love yourself and continue to go through your week and the rest of this month and this year loving on you. I hope that information helps someone tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, I apologize because I am on different platforms, so I may not be looking directly at you. But thank you so much for joining me on the live. Go back and watch this, hear what I said, and find that scripture and then insert your name in that scripture about love. And remember, love never fails. So I want you to put your name in there and say, Rhonda, Edgar, whatever your name is, love never fails. And Edgar, since you're on this live with me, you never fail because God has already put in you his love that you can change the world, that you are an overcomer, that no matter what comes your way, you will not fail. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on the live. Before I go, you know my saying, if you want to go places in life, you have to grow. The more you grow, the more places you will go. And wherever you go, be sure to give because giving is the seed to your growth. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you, you two, for joining me on the live as well. Take care. Bye bye.